Hello, my name is the Gaming Critic. I review video games with no regrets whatsoever. Well, it's been a long time since I've said that, but you know what? I'm really excited today. Why is that? Well, since my brain is back to 100%, it's time to continue on with the Ratchet Clank review series. And I can't think of a better way than to review Tools of Destruction. After reviewing the two Ratchet & Clank games developed by High Impact Games, it's finally time to get back on track with Insomniac Games. Now of course, this was going to be the first Ratchet & Clank game released on next-gen hardware in PlayStation 3, so all eyes were on this next installment. And in case you're wondering, I will be covering the three Ratchet & Clank Future games throughout this time. Tools of Destruction will be first, then Quest for Booty, and we'll end it off with A Crack in Time. I actually never played the Ratchet & Clank Future Series as a teenager, so going through the Future Series without any nostalgia beside me should be interesting. So is the Ratchet & Clank Future Series good, bad, or perhaps better than the original trilogy? Well, let's find out with the first installment to the Future Series, Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. Published by Sony Computer Entertainment and developed by Insomniac Games, Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction was released in 2007, and it was released on PlayStation 3. The story begins with Ratchet & Clank just doing what they do best, and all of a sudden, Captain Quark calls the dynamic duo and tells them that there is an invasion happening around the planet. Later on, while exploring to find Captain Quark, you meet the main antagonist for this game, Percival Tachyon. Emperor Percival Tachyon, the Crown Prince of the Kragmites, and he is responsible for killing off the Lombax. Just before he's about to kill Ratchet & Clank, the duo slips off and escapes the planet. They later learn about an item called the Dimensionator, a helmet that opens wormholes to other dimensions, and throughout the game, Ratchet has a choice to make. Does he use a Dimensionator to travel back to be with his own kind, or does he stay with Clank to help him defeat Emperor Percival Tachyon and to stop the invasion? And that's all I'm going to talk about the story, and looking back at it, it's actually alright. Not the best Ratchet & Clank story ever, but it did keep me interested from start to finish. But I will say that the whole Ratchet being the last Lombax and destined to defeat Percival Tachyon, Emperor Percival Tachyon, is a bit too overdramatic in my opinion, as I probably would have preferred the simple Ratchet & Clank storyline when they joined forces together to beat Tachyon. Okay, fine! Emperor Percival Tachyon. The newer characters are okay and they fit their roles nicely, but they are nothing too special in my eyes. Talwyn is basically portrayed as the love interest for Ratchet, Kronk and Zephyr are just a comedy act together, and you also have Captain Romus Slag and Rusty Pete, and they are my favorite characters in this game. Having Slag being the serious pirate who wants to get loaded with riches, and Pete being that comedy sidekick, matches the two together. However, I'm not a huge fan of Tachyon. Shut up! And probably one of the reasons why is I'm not sure if I should take this character seriously or funny. In the original Ratchet & Clank games, Chairman Drake was a serious character where the only thing he cares about was destroying planets and making money, while Dr. Nefarious was funny, as he takes things way over the top, and along with Lawrence, that resulted in some funny dialogue. But with Emperor Percival Tachyon, it's hard for me to decide which category he fits in. In 1 minute he's all serious talking about killing Ratchet, but next minute he's talking about something that's goofy or completely wacky. I don't know, maybe it's just me not liking the character as much as I did with the original villains. But I will give the benefit of the doubt that there was one scene from Emperor Percival Tachyon that was pretty funny.
Finally, the time has come for the Kragmites to rise again!
So with that done, let's talk about how the game looks and how it plays. Tools of Destruction looks absolutely stunning. Insomniac Games were always known for taking new console hardware and pushing it to the next level, and it's no exception here. What's really cool about Tools of Destruction is it runs on a smooth 60 frames per second. Many game developers try to use 60 frames per second on their AAA games, but they ultimately fail and force to use 30 frames per second. But seeing Tools of Destruction at 60 frames per second, and the fact it was released in 2007, it really is impressive. For the gameplay in the Ratchet & Clank game, it should be fitting to talk about the weapons lineup first. The weapons in this game are good. Not as good as the original, but they are still good nevertheless. You have weapons like the Combustor, the Fusion Grenade, the Negotiator, the Alpha Disruptor, and the Doom Blades, just to name a few. The reason why I say the weapons are good is because this is the first time you're seeing them, and rest assured, these are not the last time you see those weapons in later releases. But for now, I'll let it slide, but I can't say the same for the devices. The Groovatron is okay, as it is cool to see enemies dance, and it can help you defeat some of the tougher enemies when you progress further, but I honestly never really liked the Groovatron. Same with Mr. Zircon. He is extremely annoying, as he only says things like, "Mr. Zircon is here to kill," or something like that. And excuse me? But how much do you want me to pay for one Mr. Zircon? Get the fuck out of my screen, boy! As for the gadgets, they are okay, but nothing too special to comment about. But there is one gadget I really enjoyed, and that is the Gelinator. It's pretty cool that you could shoot blocks of gel and jump on it to reach further gaps. One small detail they added, and it is a nice touch to me, and that is when you kill a fish enemy from Tachyon, you can step on their heads and watch them explode for bolts. So, basically, Tools of Destruction accepts fish abuse. Better not show this to Peter. Continuing with the characters, there was one character I forgot to mention, but I wanted to save him for this section, and that person is the Smuggler. I hate the Smuggler. I would probably go as far to say that he is one of the most annoying characters in a Ratchet & Clank game. How annoying is he? Well, you meet him around 4 to 5 times in the entire game, and every single time you meet him, he has to say something that is convenient to keep the story going. If we met the Smuggler once, and once only, then I would have been fine with it. Replace the other 4 times you meet him with different characters with different personalities. Hell, that's what made the original Ratchet & Clank game so special. Going around different planets and coming across new people to talk to. But in here, it's the same character you talk to over and over again, and he's such a boring character. The soundtrack does sound good, but at times it can be forgettable, as some parts does sound a bit generic, but once you hear it, it does sound good. Moving on to the ship levels, and they really remind me of Star Fox 64. And if you like those sorts of games, then you'll like this one. Me on the other hand, I feel that they are mostly the same as Going Commando ship levels. All they do is drag the gameplay down a bit. So I'm not a huge fan of the ship levels, and that goes for the 6-axis controls. In here, you move the controller around and avoid objects flying around you. It does move okay, but try doing it without looking like a complete idiot. I can see that Insomniac was trying to do something different, and while it was a good effort, but it was going to be either a hit or a miss. And for me, it turned out to be a miss. That's probably why they stopped doing it in future releases. Time to talk about the Clank levels. Oh yeah, the moment you've been waiting for. Look, I wasn't a fan of the Clank Levels in the original, and I'm still not a fan of them now. You'll see Clank being joined by a new race called the Sony. They pretty much act like the gadget bots in the original. You give them a command and they do exactly what they are told to do. The Sony can do different tasks such as slowing time, make Clank levitate, and build structures to advance. While the Clank gameplay is different and it is perhaps a bit better than the original, it still drags the gameplay down in my opinion. And when you accidentally die in around 8 minutes, you have to do it all over again, and it does become repetitive. And speaking of dying, when Ratchet dies, he still has the same death sound from that actor Mikey Kelly in Ratchet & Clank 1. I don't know about you, but James Arnold Taylor has been playing as Ratchet for a long time now, and I think it's time for an updated death noise. Last thing to talk about, and that is the pirate disguise, where you disguise yourself as an enemy and entering their territory. I hate the pirate disguise. Is it the worst gadget in the Ratchet & Clank series? Arguably. When you wear the disguise, there's a door you have to get past, and the only way to get past the door is to just dance. Seriously, that's all you do. Tools of Destruction invented twerking. By God, they invented twerking! Now, I know I stated a few amounts of problems about this game, but honestly, most of them are all just small minor nitpicks of mine. Tools of Destruction is a fun game you can play while killing a few hours of your time. Is it better than the original games? Well, no, but Insomniac did their part by showcasing what the PlayStation 3 can offer. And whenever you think they succeeded or not, that's entirely up to you. Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction gets 6 out of 10. Even though some small issues comes around every corner, in the end, I was glad that I gave this game a try. If you're new to the Ratchet & Clank series, and if you ask me if you should give Tools of Destruction a chance, then I'd say give it a go. You might have the same and or different opinions about this game, but hey, at least if you give it a try, that's all that matters. Size matters to be exact. Nah, nah, nah. So moving from one Ratchet & Clank game to another, be sure to come back as we take a look at Ratchet & Clank Quest for Booty. Not to be confused with people's assholes, but anyway, thank you for watching this review, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe today. My name's the Gaming Critic, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.